I requested a meeting to better understand his concerns. Because we had met with the accreditation office, we were really clear about what their recommendation was, which was accreditation with 2 deficiencies for the district, as you know. I requested the meeting, he accepted the meeting, I arrived. It was a very short meeting, less than 30 minutes. It was very straightforward. He said he was just doing some fact finding that he needed to understand a little bit better. We explained to him the information about the audit, for example, because he was saying there were these multiple years of audits, and I said, that isn't accurate. Can you help me understand where you're getting that? And he talked about where he was getting that, and the chief financial officer for the district was with me, explained how audits work, how to read them, what they mean, what that information meant, what it means to have a modified or an unmodified opinion, and so forth. And it seemed to have resolved the issue. He said no decisions had been made. There were still, everything was under consideration. And I got back in the car to drive back to Tulsa. And by the time I got back to Tulsa, I was getting notified that he had just gotten off a Zoom interview where he was saying that he was going to take over Tulsa Public Schools along the lines of what occurred in Houston. I was barely even back in Tulsa at that time.
That possibility was not raised at all during that conversation.
Absolutely not.
You kind of touched on it in there, but today when he spoke to the media, he said that basically TPS embezzled $1 million. Today you said that number is not true whatsoever.
No one knows exactly right now. What we know is what we've reported, and it's not near that number. What he does not know, I am confident, is what is being investigated right now. And until that process concludes and the criminal justice system, the wheels are turned and justice prevails, then we're not going to know. And I think I would ask as a Tulsan, and I am confident that you all are asking, where's the source for this? What is the source for that information that was apparently declared very definitively? I don't know where that came from.
Walters has claimed that he's heard from other districts that they've communicated to him improvement plans. Have you communicated to him improvement plans, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, first of all, I talked about our plan with him in person on Friday. He did not ask me about performance. At the end of the meeting, I said I do want to say more before we wrap up. I want you to understand we have a plan. Here's what the plan is. We talk about it every month. It's on our website. The board talks about it at length at their meetings. And so there's no question that Tulsa Public Schools has a plan for improvement. We're working that plan and we are seeing results. What is also clear is that there is no plan for the state of Oklahoma for how we are going to pull ourselves as a state out from the very bottom of performance. There are only 2 states in the country that perform worse than Oklahoma right now, and our declines have been so precipitous that I worry that we're going to fall even further behind even the 2 states that we're above right now.
And Walters has questioned TPS's plan to get, especially reading proficiency, but has State Superintendent Walters presented you with a plan on how to help TPS at all?
Definitely not.
In the meeting tonight, Board President Woolley described this as rhetoric and vitriol. Would you agree with that?
What is this?
His statement earlier on today.
I haven't seen the statements. I've heard a little bit. I've seen some screenshots of some things that were shared, so I have a little bit of information about what was shared today, and I addressed that tonight in the meeting. There's no question that what I have seen, that there are large parts of it that are either completely misleading or utterly false.
Just going back on financials for a moment, he claimed that TPS has lacked appropriate internal financial controls for, he says, the 3 years straight. Do you have a response to that?
It's categorically untrue. I told him that on Friday when we sat down. He either did not seem to understand how audits work or was actively ignoring the facts about how audits work, one or the other. And we shared the information, and that was on Friday. Today's Monday, and it's being repeated despite the fact that the paper is there. This is not my opinion. It is the opinion of an independent auditor who comes into our district every single year and conducts an extensive review and offers an unbiased and official opinion about those financials. And those are available to the public. They're out there, that we've shared them. And furthermore, we've received awards for the quality of our financial reporting. Our chief financial officer shared tonight that we go above and beyond in terms of the kind of accounting that we use in our district that goes above what is required, makes it much more complex, but that's something that we are committed to doing.
How are you feeling about all this? I mean, are you worried that you might end up not being the superintendent here?
The only thing that I am worried about are the children of Tulsa and the educators who serve them. That's all. This is my hometown. I love this city. I'm here for that reason. And that's the only thing that matters to me. And I find it sometimes infuriating, oftentimes heartbreaking, that these distractions are continuing. We have been dealing with these distractions for more than a year. It's one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, and it's intentional. There are classes that they are giving one another about how to disrupt school districts. You throw one thing, they're barely trying to respond, you throw the next. You make up the one thing, they're barely trying to get the facts out, and you make up the next. It's intentional. Tulsa, I believe, knows better, and importantly, I think can all agree that Tulsa children deserve better than that. We are 2 weeks away from launching school, and that's what all of us should singularly be focused on. And we are, but we're also having to deal with this nonsense at the same time, and it is unconscionable.
In the midst of all this, have you had any communication with other city leaders, like city councilors or the mayor's office, about what's going on and your worries about that, and what kind of responses have you gotten from them?
Absolutely, and the leaders of our city, from the board to the city council to the mayor, the business leaders, people are baffled about what the end goal is here. What are we seeking to do? What are we trying to accomplish by going after the largest school district in our state with things that are not even part of a body of factual information? There is a whole state that the state superintendent of public instruction is responsible for. I know the complexity of that job because I've done it in 2 different states. It is a very difficult job with a massive amount of responsibility that is very technical, and the way in which money is distributed and tests are done and accountability happens and federal reporting is done. All of that deserves tremendous focus, and we ought to be concerned as a state that it's not getting attention. And on top of that, we need a plan for how Oklahoma is going to pull ourselves out of the very bottom of performance for our students as a state. The whole state, all of us, need to be working together. We stand ready to do that work. We're doing that work very transparently, and we stand ready to continue collaborating with others, because it's going to take all of us making this happen.
One of the first things that he brought up today was TPS's the reading proficiency levels, and he pointed out that over the last few years they've dropped. However, for the entire state of Oklahoma, the levels have also dropped. And so, anything you would like to say, since he is pointing out TPS specifically?
You know, again, our results mirror the state results and the national results. The entire country has struggled in the past few years. That is abundantly clear. There's ample evidence about that. We have plenty of evidence to demonstrate what we have been doing to recover from that. We have a plan, we're working that plan, we're implementing it carefully, we're tracking our performance, and we're reporting our performance publicly to all of Tulsa. What we need is for the state to do the same and to support and help and assist and advocate on behalf of kids and not to attack, to weaponize systems, to distract from that work.
And can we do 2 more questions? I know you have a very early morning and it's been a long day. Just 2 more.
Like, you were asked if you've heard from Mayor Bynum and other elected officials. Have you heard from the neighbors, Union, Jenks, any of those administrators, just to check in or anything along those lines?
I have heard from other superintendents. I think everyone recognizes that this is targeted on Tulsa and has been for years. We do not understand why. They do not understand why. But nonetheless, that is the situation. And yes, the answer is I have absolutely heard from my colleagues.
You talked a lot about teacher shortages during the meeting tonight, especially. Are you worried that this kind of attention on TPS is going to dissuade some teachers from working for TPS, possibly?
Absolutely. I mean, the Tulsa World reported that he literally said teachers should run from Tulsa. I mean, that's not an exact quote, but it was something along those lines. You're actively attempting to encourage educators to leave the largest school district in your state. That makes no sense. And there's no good reason for that. We are an amazing place to work. Anybody who joins Team Tulsa will wrap them with love and support and do everything in our power, not only to support their success, but also to protect them from this nonsense.